America, my name is Osei-Frimpong, and look, the title might be overly generous, but to my mind, there are not a ton of ways in which the situation in Gaza could have ended. As it stood, it was an open-air prison that had then been, infrastructure was blown out, reduced to rubble by ourselves, where we sold the munitions to Israel in order for them to do the dirty work. And so the infrastructure has been blown to bits. Before, the sanitation was dicey. Everything was dicey because we couldn't let them actually maintain a society because the resources in which the Palestinians in Gaza, the Gazans, would have maintained their society could have also been used to launch an attack against Israel. So there was a blockade that precluded meaningful infrastructure materials being imported into the Gazan Strip. So, the sanitation was at the whim of the Israelis. Everything was at the whim of the Israelis, who then ruled from afar. And now even that was blown up, right? So you have a situation where there's a bunch of rubble. They can't rebuild it themselves because we won't let them rebuild it themselves. We, meaning Israel and the United States. So we annexed it. We gave it it now becomes a protectorate, a colony of the United States. And unfortunately, this isn't the worst case scenario. A lot of people are going to starve to death. A lot of bad things are going to happen, but this might actually protect more lives. It's not going to do anything for the self-determination of the Gazans because, now I don't know what kind of press is going to be there, but I suspect if you speak out, you'll just get shot in the street. But before, if you speak out, you'll get shot too. Now some people are now going to live a better life because the U.S. takes it over. Some people in Gaza will live a more secure, better life. They just give up on self-determination and just live a good life, which might be ridiculous to say, except that's kind of the bargain a lot of people have in the United States. We've given up on self-determination. We don't care if the government is actually of the people and by the people. We just care that it secures our, good civil life and we have a good job. And so, if you're black and in the deep South, I'm in Georgia right now, I'm in Mississippi or whatever, you're not trying to govern. Those days are over, right? You're just trying to hope that the governing power at the statewide level is going to allow you to have an orderly existence for you to raise your family and live to fight another day. Enjoy your kids and maybe your grandkids. Maybe get some clean water when you can, right? So that's the deal the Gazans are getting. You're not getting your government. You're not getting a state. You're not getting self-determination. You're getting some sort of civil stability and order. And we can laugh at that deal until we realize that that's the deal a lot of Americans have already taken. That's both on the Democratic side and the Republican side. That's the deal that Americans taken when we decided that the party should be run by corporate elites. And now the corporate elites have been, it's corporate elites versus the king monarchist, the tech monarchist Elon Musk. And now we're deciding that, we'll just let the U.S. be run by Elon Musk, which might be fine if it doesn't really screw up your life. And it might make your life more orderly or whatever. Let's be honest. We've given up on democracy a long time ago. I'm going to do a different show on how Musk wasn't inevitable. He was only inevitable in the James Bond villain type of way. He's a perfect James Bond villain. He was always the perfect James Bond villain. And he's just finding his telos. He's realizing himself as the James Bond villain he was. But, a lot of people lived fine off the empire, right? Until they blew up the Death Star and all those widows' pensions that happened for the people who lived on the Death Star and all of that stuff. So we need to understand that there weren't a lot of good options for Gaza, and life in Gaza wasn't just degraded as an open-air prison as it was a year ago. It's open-air prison that's like rubble. Like people don't have basic sanitation, and there isn't an infrastructure for them. It was all blown to bits, or mostly blown to bits, and now people are congregating in a place where there is no infrastructure. So this might be the relatively humanitarian goal. This is not self-determination. This is not self-governance, but this is relatively humanitarian. Trump Tower in Gaza. Look at the views. You can see the holy city from here. Maybe you can't. But yeah, this is what it is. And let's be honest with ourselves. This isn't the worst case scenario. At least we have a little bit more direct responsibility as opposed to the indirect responsibility for the murderous, psychopathic, Zionist Israelis. So, yeah. So we are negotiating